Hello everybody, welcome to YouTube channel Enriched Biology. Previously we did the structure of kidney, which is the excretory organs for excretion of nitrogenous waste in case of human being and in case of all mammals also you can say. And I told you that in the kidney are present millions of nephrons, and each nephron has two parts, glomerulus and the renal tubule. Glomerulus is the bunch of capillaries I told you. These capillaries, they are formed by the branching of afferent arteriole, which enters the Bowman's capsule, and afferent arteriole itself is the branch of renal artery. And second part is renal tubule, which consists of uppermost part, that is Bowman's capsule or Bowman's cap, and lower part is consists of PCT, proximal convoluted tube, which is convoluted tube, which enters into loop of Henle, which is a hairpin-like structure, and which ends into distal convoluted tubule, and these distal convoluted tubule that open into the collecting duct. PCT, that is proximal convoluted tube, Bowman's cup along with the glomerulus, DCT, distal convoluted tubule, they lie in the cortex region of the kidney, and the loop of Henle, it lies in the medulla region of the kidney. In most of the nephrons, the loop of Henle is very much reduced and very little part is lying in the medulla. Such nephrons, they are called as the cortical nephrons. In some of the nephrons, the loop of Henle is very large. It lies deep into the, medulla. Such nephrons, they are called as juxtamedullary nephrons. Juxtamedullary nephrons. And glomerulus lying in the Bowman's cap. Both of these together, they are called as the Malpighian body or the Malpighian corpuscle. So now we'll do how urine formation is there. How urine is formed by these nephrons. Nephrons are the functional unit of the kidney. Urine is formed in 3 steps. First is filtration, second is absorption, third is secretion. So first step is filtration. Filtration occurs in the Bowman's capsule. The glomerular capillaries, which are lying in the Bowman's capsule, they have inner lining of endothelium. Then Bowman capsule has its upper lining of epithelium. In between the endothelium and epithelium is present a basement membrane. And the epithelial cells of the Bowman's capsule, they are placed in an intricate manner, irregularly placed to form some spaces in between them. These cells, they are called as the podocytes, and these spaces, they are called as the interstitial sites for the filtrate, interstitial filtration site. So when there is pressure in the blood capillaries, blood flows in the capillaries, blood capillaries or the glomerulus with great pressure. So due to this pressure, many of the substances along with water, they are filtered out from the endothelium of the blood capillary. That is water, and you can say nutrients just like glucose, amino acids, and you can say ions, the ammonium ion, hydrogen ions, the potassium ions, they pass through, and many electrolytes, they pass through the endothelium of the blood capillary, but no protein. So this filtrate is protein-free filtrate. Proteins are large molecule. So these substances, they are called as the, along with water, they are called as the filtrate. Filtrate passes from the basement membrane, then from the Bowman's capsule, epithelium of the Bowman's capsule, to the proximal convoluted tubule. To say Bowman capsule enters in the proximal convoluted tubule. From the in the proximal convoluted tubule, there is reabsorption of water and ions as well. Reabsorption of water, nutrients, and ions as well. And then from the proximal convoluted tubule, the filtrate goes down into the loop of Henle, that is descending loop of Henle. Here again there is reabsorption of water. Much of the water is absorbed, 70 to 80% of the water and electrolytes, they are absorbed in the PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, and much of the water is, rest of the water is absorbed in the descending loop of Henle. Descending loop of Henle is permeable to water and impermeable to electrolytes. So then from the descending loop, this filtrate moves into the ascending limb of the loop of Henle. Ascending limb of loop of Henle is impermeable to water. It's very little absorption of water. It's impermeable to water but permeable to electrolytes. So electrolytes, just like sodium chloride, etc., they can move outward. Then from the this concentrated filtrate that enters into the DCT, distal convoluted tubule. Here again reabsorption of water and ions, and in this way the filtration occurs and these function. So the filtration is regulated by inbuilt mechanism in the kidney. What is that? That is JGA, juxtaglomerular apparatus. What is juxtaglomerular apparatus? It is some of the region of the PCT, proximal convoluted tube, which is in contact with the afferent sorry, not DCT, distal convoluted tubule, which is in contact with the afferent arteriole, portion of the afferent arteriole. They are sensory, they are sensitized, they are sensitive, and when there is, to say, fall in the filtration, glomerular filtration, the JG cell, juxtaglomerular cell, what they will do, they will release renin. Renin will activate angiotensinogen, an enzyme, inactive enzyme present in the blood. Renin will activate angiotensinogen, an inactive enzyme present in the blood. This angiotensinogen into angiotensin 1. Angiotensinogen is converted into angiotensin 1. Then angiotensin 1 is further, it is converted into angiotensin 2, which is activated form of the angiotensinogen. This angiotensin 2, what it does? It increases the flow of blood. It affects upon the blood flow in the capillaries. The flow of blood is increased. So blood pressure in the capillaries is increased. So there will be increase in the filtration rate. So what is filtration rate? Glomerular filtration rate. In 1 minute, 125 milliliter of filtrate is formed or filtered out from the glomerular capillaries, and this is called as the glomerular filtration rate. So renin, it to say increase the GFR, glomerular filtration rate, if it falls down by increasing the blood flow through angiotensin and 1 and then angiotensin 2. In a human being, a normal human being, to say 180 liter of filtrate is formed per day. 1 liter of filtrate is formed per day. In addition to this JGA, these adrenal cortex cells, they release aldosterone. Aldosterone, it is a vasoconstrictor. It also help in the absorption of water. Filtration. It also increases the filtration by constriction of the vessels. Then we come to second step is reabsorption. Filtrate is formed. I told you that they are formed in the from the blood capillaries. It is not excreted as such. 180 liters of filtrate is formed per day, but only 1.5 liters raw urine is produced, which is excreted out in the normal man. So entire filtrate is not excreted as such. Filtrate is then concentrated. It is reabsorbed. Its components, 99% of the filtrate is reabsorbed. In the form of water, electrolytes, etc. So, where reabsorption occur? Reabsorption occur in the PCT. Maximum reabsorption occurs in the PCT of water and ions, electrolytes, and also in the it occurs in the descending loop of Henle, but water is not absorbed in the ascending loop of Henle. It is absorbed only in the ascending limb and PCT and DCT. In DCT also there is absorption of water and ions, or you can say electrolytes. So in this way reabsorption occurs. Then I told you that, remember this point, the descending limb of loop of Henle is permeable to water but not to electrolytes. Ascending limb of water loop of Henle is impermeable to water but not permeable to electrolytes. So water filtrate is concentrated in the descending limb. How it is somewhat diluted in the ascending limb because electrolytes they are moved out into the medullary interstitium. Third step is secretion. To perform all these functions, there is need of ions and water they are diffusing out and inside and outside, nutrients are they are diffusing out inside. There should be this process is performed by active diffusion as well as some of the nutrients they pass through the passive diffusion. Water and some of the nutrients they pass through passive diffusion, and some other substances they pass through active diffusion. That is, so concentration gradient is to be maintained into the medullary interstitium. That is maintained by the secretion of the ions and reabsorption of ions by these loop of Henle and is PCT, DCT as well. So secretion of hydrogen ion, potassium ion, ammonium ions occurs in the PCT, proximal convoluted tubule, and absorption of bicarbonate ion and water also occurs there. Then there is no secretion in the loop of Henle. Secretion also occurs in the DCT, distal convoluted tubule, of hydrogen ion, potassium ion, and bicarbonate ion. And however, there is a movement of NaCl, absorption of NaCl in the descending loop of Henle, but it's released out in its absorption is not there in the ascending limb. So by this secretion, some of the secretion also occurs in the collecting duct. Urea is also secreted. Sodium chloride and urea, they maintain the osmolarity. So by this osmolarity, 300 mOSmol of cortex, it is 300. It ranges from then cortex to medulla and it reaches up to 1200 in case of inner medulla. So osmolarity is maintained by this method. So reabsorption and secretion both they play important role in maintaining the osmolarity. So now we come how this absorption and secretion occurs. The around the loop of Henle, blood capillary which form the network around the DCT and PCT, one portion it run parallel to the loop of Henle, descending limb as well as ascending limb. That portion is called as vasa recta. That portion is called as vasa recta. The water current, the filtrate in the descending limb of the loop of Henle, it flows downward. In the ascending limb of the loop of Henle, it flows upward. Conversely, in case of vasa recta, ascending limb of vasa recta, it runs parallel to the descending limb of loop of Henle. Descending limb of the vasa recta, it runs parallel to the ascending limb of loop of Henle. That I will show you. Yes, you can see here, this is loop of Henle. Yes, and what happens, and this is the vasa recta. This is its ascending limb of loop of Henle, and this is the descending limb of vasa recta. It is descending limb of loop of Henle, it is the ascending part of vasa recta. So blood in the descending, filtrate in the descending loop of Henle flows downward, and filtrate in the ascending loop of Henle flows upward. Conversely, in the opposite the ascending limb, parallel to the ascending limb of loop of Henle, descending limb of vasa recta is going down. So filtrate is moving upward in the ascending limb of loop of Henle, blood is moving downward in the descending loop of Henle. Similarly, filtrate is moving downward in the descending limb of loop of Henle, and blood is moving upward in the ascending limb of vasa recta. So there is counter current in both of the portion, loop of Henle as well as the vasa recta, and they are running parallel to each other. So there is exchange of material in between these. Sodium ions from the ascending limb, they pass to the descending limb of vasa recta, which is called as the sodium chloride. Then from the descending limb of the loop of Henle, water will pass to the ascending limb of the vasa recta. So sodium ion from the descending limb, they will go to the ascending limb, and in this way they are transported to the collecting duct. Collecting duct, then again it will it will pour the concentrated filtrate into the into the medulla through cortex. So in this way, by counter current mechanism, fluid, filtrate and blood, they flow in the opposite direction, because ascending limb of loop of Henle is parallel to the descending limb of vasa recta. There is counter current, and so in this way there is exchange of material and filtrated. Water is also absorbed, and sodium chloride ions are also absorbed, and in collecting it, urea is also absorbed, which is poured into the medullary system. And in this way, osmolarity and ionic balance is also maintained by the secretion of hydrogen ion, potassium ion, and the ammonium ion. So this is all about counter current mechanism. And now control or the coordination of function of kidney. 3 hormonal system, they control or they coordinate the function of the kidney. One I already told you, JGA, juxtaglomerular apparatus, which coordinate the blood flow. If the GFR is, GFR is reduced, if the glomerular filtration rate is reduced, then JG cell, they will activate, they will form renin, which in turn will activate angiotensinogen into angiotensin 1 and angiotensin 2, which will increase the blood pressure or the blood flow. And along with aldosterone, it also function adrenal cortex. It also release aldosterone. It is vasoconstricted and it will also increase the blood flow. The combined action is called as renin angiotensinogen direction. Second hormonal control is by the brain. When there is fluid deficiency, when the blood volume is reduced, when the body volume is reduced, when the body volume is decreased, osmoreceptors present on the body, they convey sensation, they become active. They transmit sensation to the brain. The hypothalamus of the brain releases an enzyme, antidiuretic hormone. Antidiuretic hormone is released by the hypothalamus through neurohypophysis. This antidiuretic hormone, it increases the rate of reabsorption. When it will increase the rate of reabsorption, then absorption will be more. Then the volume of the blood will be also increased. Volume of the body fluid will be increased, and it will be resumed to the normal. When it is resumed to the normal, these phenomena is reversed. Osmoreceptor of the body, they become inactive, and then there is no function of the ATH. Third one is the ANF, anti-natriuretic hormone. Anti-natriuretic hormone, when there is an increase in the blood flow, and there is naturally there will be an increase in the blood pressure. When the blood pressure of the atria of the heart is much increased, to normalize it, anti-natriuretic hormone is produced, which is vasodilator. It dilates the vessels and the blood pressure will be reduced, it will become to the normal. So in this way, three hormonal system, that is JGA, ADH, ANF, they coordinate the functioning of the kidney. This is all about how the kidney functions, and I think you might have followed it. Remember it. Don't forget to subscribe it and share it with your friend. Have a good day. Bye.